All right, so let me share screen. Hi, Brenda, good to see you. So let me share screen with your profile as well. Okay, so I have known Brenda for many years, and I'm always struck by how authentic she is, in the work that she does, and she truly believes in this whole body of work. So Brenda is SG60 celebrated speaker and trainer, best-selling author and emotional wellness coach, cited by the Prime Minister of Singapore in 2008 as an exemplary role model. With over 13 years of experience in facilitation, coaching, and speaking, she is also an accredited colored brain practitioner, a certified hypnotherapist, and an ICF coach. So Brenda integrates dream intelligence. Oh, I love to have more of that. Dream intelligence and forest bathing. Wow, I love that too. To support emotional and mental wellness work. She's also the author of the bestseller Regain Your Power and the co-founder of Life Everlock, a social innovation startup founded by Nian 公司 S and SUSS. Let's join our hands together to welcome Brenda. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you. Yes, and you can close the screen. Thank you. Very good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for making time this afternoon to be with all of us. Well, I met a monk about a decade back, and he asked me this question: Brenda, would you like to be as strong as a candle flame? Here I have a candle flame. And I thought, wow, it's going to light up the room. It's strong. And I said, yeah, sure. And then he smiled and he said, instead of being the candle flame, would it be better if you are the charcoal? That's a lot stronger and steady and solid. Because as a candle flame, it can actually flicker and even get blown away like this, right? And let me put this aside so I don't burn down my house, right? And just like the flame itself, it can also get destructive when it gets out of control, just like us human beings, right? And sometimes when our flame is too much, we can, with all the emotional turmoil, depression or something, we can also create and destruct things around us. So how many of us here would like to be able to be the charcoal? And the charcoal actually represents our inner sustainability, which is actually the strength, right, that actually help us through in all these times of uncertainty. So, the new reality is that uncertainty is no longer the exception, right? It is actually the environment that we actually live in. And these days that keep us up at night, many of us, and these questions are so common. I myself, it could be many of us, even in this room today, we may be asking questions such as, what will happen to me when AI takes over? Something that I used to do, right? I mean, today, even as a coach, people are coming out with AI programs that they can go ask questions directly. What's going to happen to me? Am I going to become irrelevant or redundant? How fast will this affect me? Who am I then? So we are just like the flickering flame, and even employees as well, right? We go through economic changes, restructuring, AI replacing roles, exhaustion of adapting repeatedly again and again. And we're all very familiar with this, right? What if it comes, what another COVID comes along? What's going to happen? Yeah. So the key thing is, it is really not just about losing our job. It's not just about going through another restructuring or taking on something new. The key thing is, it is a very quiet dismissal and erosion of our identity and dignity, our meaning and belonging. Recently, I met a client who came to me and she asked me, she said, Brenda, can you please help me get a job? I just really need some certainty. And when I asked her, what is really behind all these frustrations? She's a high flyer and she manages teams, right? And she said, well, Brenda, if I cannot even help myself or coach myself, and I used to be, so comfortable working in the MNC and I can't get all these going, how can I actually help other people? Yeah, and she just went through a divorce and she's got kids as well. So you see how much attachment we have to our identity, our past achievements. And when that is all gone suddenly, who are we? And then, the emotional and mental issues will start to kick in. Some of us go into depression. And as this drag longer, we don't have a job yet, or we're still not happy with where we are. Some of us when we go through job retrenchment, we go into Grab driving, there's really nothing wrong with it. But some of us, we feel that, I'm doing Grab driving when I used to be a high achiever, right? And they stop meeting their friends, so there becomes a social disconnection and the loneliness sets in. And according to statistics and research, right, suicidal rate actually increases as well when people go through all these job changes, job retrenchment. And let's not forget about the people who survive in the organization. Why is it them and not me? And I'm so lucky that I still have my job. But the guilt that they go through, right? And suddenly their friends who left, their colleagues, they no longer talk to them because, oh no, I lost my job and you stayed and you are taking on my role as well. So what we have discovered in the missing piece, and that is many organizations, they try to offer resilience training programs, digital skills workshops, change management seminars, and there's nothing wrong with that, which is really great, right? Mindfulness practices, etc. And what we actually feel is really important is actually what actually restores people, which is actually the feeling of who I am still matters in today's organizations. So how can we all be like that charcoal? And I like to bring in the philosophy of from heart to longevity. In Chinese, it's called Shou. So Shou in Chinese means longevity. And I'd like to ask all of you, type in the chat box, would you like to add more lives to your years? Or would you like to add more years to your life? Yeah, I'd love to take a look at the chat. Yeah, how many of you would like to add more life to your years or more years to your life? Type life if you want life and type years if you want more years. Yeah, someone's more life, fantastic. Life. Okay, great. I'm glad many of you chose life. How about having both? Yeah. So what happens if you have more years added to your life? I mean, that's great if you have more years added to your life, but imagine more years added to your life, but yet you are miserable. You may be depressed. You may still be feeling for so long in your life that, I'm still not good enough. Someone else doing better than me. I'm still not getting the income that I want, or I don't have my kids around with me and all of that. So long life without energy, meaning joy or connection, can actually make us feel hollow. And true longevity, it's really to return to the heart that truly sustains us. And this philosophy is not just, when you meditate up in the mountains, or sitting by the river, but it can also be applied in our corporate organizations and communities. So when we live and work from the heart, we actually stay calm, grounded, and creativity actually expands. And we begin to glow just like the charcoal, where we are still quiet, deep, and yet solid and steady within us. And we can even also see a deeper meaning behind why we do what we do. So I'd like to introduce you the Shou circle that we have started, which is really bring people, employees, communities into this safe space for reflection, renewal, and heart-based longevity. It is where we help team members, right, to rediscover meaning, belonging, and stability from the inside out. And we have 6 beneficial pillars that supports this Shou circles, right? I'd like to share with you the first one. So you see, where do I preserve my dignity and my identity when everything is lost? And the key thing is really, how can all of you find your own USP? And the hard truth is, you could be an L&D, you could be in HR, you could be a director, you could be a self-entrepreneur like myself, self-employed entrepreneur like myself, right? But today, if AI comes in, system shifts, COVID comes in, but we are not shaken because we know our own true worth, my own USP. In marketing, we call it our unique selling proposition. But here I call it your true unique essence. And when you actually own that, you can radiate from calm confidence and not fear, right? And do you know that wisdom grows in stillness? So we offer this space for you to slow down for wisdom, where you can actually build more depth, more focus and confidence as you learn to listen inwardly and not go against the waves. Some of us feel that we have to keep chasing, keep racing when we are not getting a job or when we are not getting the outcomes. And we think that the strategy is actually racing. But on the contrary, it is actually the opposite. How can you actually build more self-trust? And we offer this space to help you reconnect with your inner compass. And even though you may not know your answers, but you can trust your direction and coming together as a group in the Shou circle, which is very supportive. And how can we turn that noise into your clarity? And this is where creativity actually emerges. And the key thing is also a space where you actually allow your own inner development, where through that you start to calm down, you start to listen inwardly, you start to explore areas that you have not thought about. And this is where you regain your emotional and mental solidity, just like the charcoal that does not flicker. And very importantly, the last point is where you start to be able to design your own life, that you're not shaken and you stop competing from fear, and you're able to create the confidence and your own authenticity. And most importantly, is to restore your dignity, identity, meaning, and purpose. So how this really works, right, is in the Shou circle, especially in corporate organizations, we integrate what I call the Life Capsule, which is also funded by Nian Kongsi and SUSS partnership, where we integrate coaching modality, reminiscence, therapy, mindful techniques, storytelling, and other guided activities, where we take people through a series of themes, help you identify your identity, uncover your strengths, move past fears that we may have, build your inner resilience, and most importantly is own your own unique USP. And over here, I just like to share with you how the box actually look like. Okay, I'm just going to remove my filter here for a moment, just so you can see. So over here, I have what we call a live capsule box. Okay, and I'm just going to open that. Who's getting excited? Okay, and this is where we actually work with our people in our Shou circles. We work with communities as well. In fact, we work with people with the elderlies and even end of life. We take these to them and we work them through the same thing. Okay, and I'm going to share, go back to my screen sharing right now. Okay, yeah, back to my screen. So every pause reflection moment captured realigns your heart, and that's another layer of strength into your life capsule. And over time, it becomes your personal anchor through transitions and shifts. So right now, in just 5 minutes left, I'd like to give all of you an opportunity as well to experience a little around what we do in the Shou circles. Okay, so all of you, just take a look at this picture. How does this person feel in this picture? How do you think he may feel? Okay, think about that. Does this person seem overloaded? And I invite all of you to type in the chat box, does anything in this picture makes you feel uneasy or uncomfortable? Anything comes up, anything uneasy or uncomfortable, what does that feel like? Yeah, type in the chat box. Is it anything uncomfortable comes up for you? Let me just have a look. Too many bags. Okay. Yeah. So if I ask you to put on a different pair of lens, how can you see this differently? Yeah. Is he really uncomfortable? How can you actually see this differently? Yes. Yeah. So some of us see this, right? Oh, drudgery of work and life. But can we see this very differently besides working very hard? Anything else? You can type in the chat box. Yeah. It's responsible. Yes. Right. And if I invite you to bring in positive associations, resistance training, honest living, yes. If you're going to bring in positive associations, what can you make out of this photo? Can we see any positive associations as well that we can make out of this photo? Yeah, he's fit, he's strong, yes. Anything else that we can see? Perhaps if I'm an influencer, if I were to walk by, how about if I were to see this man who can be so strong and doing this, I might even invite him, maybe I'll do a video or something may come along for him, earning money family independence. We may see that this is tough, but to him, he may be one of the few lucky ones that actually has a job for himself, isn't it? Yeah, and that he's still very strong at his age. He can still do this. And in the long run, as he aged, he's still very fit and very strong. And he may not be spending so much medical fees in the hospital. Yeah, so we are looking at the positive associations down here on top of seeing what may be difficult for him. So can we also identify opportunities here? So my dear friends, you see, optimism can actually be learned. And very often when one door closes, another opens. But we are so busy looking at closed doors, we do not notice the open ones. And the key is to frame or reframe our view towards a more positive perspective. And here's just a very simple example. And for all of us here, since you make time with me this afternoon, I'd like to invite all of you to take a moment to just reflect. Think about the doors open and closed for you. What are some of the things that you are still holding on to or finding hard to let go? Is it a missed opportunity, a rejection, or something you have not forgotten? And I invite all of you to pick a number down here. Okay, you can pick just only one number. All right, so only one number. Okay, I'm going to show you the picture right now. All right, fixed to your number. You will see a number tagged to your image. So with this image, zoom into that number where your image is on, where the number is on the image. Okay, and ask yourself, what can this image prompt be telling you? Do you like the colors? Do you like this image? If you could change this image, what would you want to change to if you really do not like this? What can this be telling you about, am I letting go about that closed or open door? What's coming through for you? So because in view of time, I invite you to take a screenshot if you like to. And I also invite you to type into this chat box. I'll come back to the chat box in a bit, but type in the chat box or what comes true for you, and so we can all learn from it together. And as I move on to the next slide, yeah? So I really like this, common guys is not deep. Sometimes we cannot see what we can see, others cannot see, right? What we think we can do, others cannot. So never judge someone's struggle by your own strength. Yeah, and in this simple reflection, because of the short time that we have, I wish to pull it longer. It is really to help us explore our doors differently. And that knowing that, we can reframe how we see things and approach them with calm and uncover valuable lessons. So thank you so much. Some of you shared, yeah, it's bravery to go into the unknown. Carry on, carry on. Fantastic. It's about growth and family thriving. Yeah. And may you contemplate longer with the image after today's session. And that may give you even more deeper insights. So are you ready to ignite that steady glow in all of us from moving from a flickering flame to a steady charcoal? Because in the future of work, AI will grow, our roles will shift. But what keeps people engaged is really not more than just data, but it's about our dignity, our belonging, and our purpose. And when employees start to rediscover that their story still matters, they show up with renewed creativity, calm, and connection. And that is where that true innovation and resilience starts in your organizations. All right. So going on to the last slide, some of you may have already heard my introduction. Just like to share a little bit in the space that I work with my clients, right? For example, with Shili, I create safe space for people to befriend their fears, and I work with them in an empathetic and structured way. That's worked well for Shili. Example, Jin as well. I've also created a safe space for people, all right, and help her achieve significant results. All right, and also I work a lot with women in the women empowerment space and help them understand how women entrepreneurs can actually thrive in the digital economy. And these are just some of the organizations that I've either spoken, trained, or facilitated or coached with. Yeah. So with that, to my last slide, I'd like to leave all of you with this little wisdom here. Abundance without wisdom can still lead to misery, right? We need both light and wisdom. Our light cannot dispel the darkness, but together our lights shine brighter and help light the way for others. So we can have all the abundance in the world, we can have everything, but we don't have the wisdom, we may not know how to use it, we may not be happy, we may still be very down, and that still leads to misery. So we need both. And sometimes that just one light won't be alone, but together like a Shou circle, together as we grow, we can shine our light even brighter and path the way for others. So with that, thank you so much. If you'd like to connect with me, you can join me on LinkedIn. You can join my Shou circles, and you can actually scan the QR code and connect with me. So I thank all of you for your time in this short 15 minutes. And importantly, if you like how Shou Circle is being run, just a little very snapshot to let you experience that. Feel free to write to me any contemplation, reflections that came through for you in that little short activity. All right.